I'm personally very delighted to be interacting with you this evening. I would say here tonight. There, I think it's morning. I'm grateful to Dr. Akshay and his team for giving me this opportunity. Zone 1 has been very kind enough to support some of the Seva projects in Nepal, for which, on behalf of all the Nepali devotees, I express my gratitude. As you know, Nepal has never been under any imperial rule. So English is rather poor, or I would say spoken English is rather poor, even among those who know English. Back home, we feel everything in Nepali only. We get to speak in English only when we meet people like you. While I'm saying so, I remember one incident 25 years back when I was in Iraq with the United Nations office. I was working in the United Nations office there. Then I had to attend one or speak in one of the conferences there, extempore. And I had narrated one incident, which I think is quite applicable here as well. You know, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, I'm sure most of you know him, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, who at the age of 69 years landed in 67 years, landed in San Francisco and started ISKCON. He came from Bengal, West Bengal, and all of you know how deep accent they have in West Bengal. Once, after listening to his talk, one Native American approached him saying, "Sir, your pronunciation is very difficult to understand." Jason, am I clear? My voice is clear? Is it okay? Can you understand?
Yes, sir.
Akshay, brother?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. He said, your pronunciation is very difficult to understand. Prabhupada said, "How do you pronounce no? N-O." He said, "No." And K-N-O-W? That is also no. How do you pronounce boy and boys? Oh, plural of boy is boys. And what is the plural of ox? It's not oxes, it's oxen. Similarly, plural of mouse is not mouses, it is mice. So English is a funny language, isn't it? Therefore, please don't go by my pronunciation, he said. Go by my renunciation. Similarly, I also request all of you, please don't go by my accent of deliberation, but the intent of presentation. I hope you will grab something from what I will be saying. I've been asked to talk about, shall we share the screen now?
Sure, sir. You have the accessibility to share screen and you can share. So,
is it visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I have to go. I stop here. Let me go back to my document. Just hang on. I think I'm not getting what it has to be.
We were able to see your slides, sir.
Yeah, but then, okay, let me see. Okay. Is it-
Yes, we could see them.
yeah. Do you see the side slides also, or full screen? Is it full screen?
No, it's just the regular slides. So in the bottom corner, right next to the sliding bar, you'll have like a presentation. Just click on that button and it'll make it full screen for you.
No, I'm not saying this in this, what you call, in Excel. Yes, it is there.
But still, the visibly good. We can
Yes.
still see the screen and
Let me see. It used to be. Let me see this one. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry
No
for all
worries.
this mess. Yeah, it is here. Okay. Yeah. Now it should be okay. Yeah.
oh,
Is it okay now?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry for the mess. I've been asked to talk about leadership in science organization. In any organization, a leader is required. In political organization, obviously, the leader has to be from the political gamut or must have political acumen. In medical organization, similarly, the leader must have medical knowledge. And similarly, with engineering or any other organization. Now, our organization, Sai organization, being a Sai spiritual organization, what is the leadership qualities that is required of a leader? This is a big question. Is it this? What is the quality that is required? Obviously, some sort of spiritual knowledge or some sort of spiritual bent has to be there in the leader. Now, how do we define spirituality? Is it wearing orange robe and long Rudraksha beads? If that is the qualification, then everybody would be a leader in Sai organization. There is no dearth of sadhus in India or Nepal or in this part of the world. Many people think that by reading scriptures, books, one becomes a spiritual. If that is so, then I'm not very sure whether you are familiar with Gorakhpur. That is in northern part of India, almost adjoining Nepal border. There is a press called Gita Press, which is the largest press in India, publishing Hindu scriptural books. They produce thousands of books. So the chief editor of the press would be the highest spiritual person in India. Many people think by darshan of Badrinath or sanctorum of Badrinath or Pasupatinath or Kedarnath or Dwarika or all sorts of big pilgrim centers. One reserves seat in heaven. If that is so, the chief priests or the priests who are all the time around the sanctum sanctorum would not be there for more than a month or so, because they would have gone to heaven, and then new set of priests should replace them. If by dipping in Ganga river would not be there in Ganga. So what makes a man spiritual? That is $1 million question. What is that which makes a man spiritual? Let's see what great people or great men have to say. Even most revered person in Islamic world, he says, behavior comes before worship. You may be doing namaz 5 times a day, but if your behavior is atrocious or is not conducive, or you are not humble, humility, time spent in namaz reading would be a waste. Similarly, Hazrat Muhammad also says, good action lead to God. So one has to be good or do good things only to God. So it is spirituality, something like this. There are only 2 ways to become spiritual. One, be a good human being. Do good, say good, everything good. That is the only way. There is no other alternative. Now, what our scripture, Hindu scripture, or Swami has to say? Yeah, well before that, Gautam Buddha also said, Ashtanga mark. He gave the whole conclusion of, or Tripitak, the scripture, Buddhist scriptures. The conclusion is Ashtanga mark. That says, be good, do good, see good, hear good, all good ones. Mahavtar Baba, we said to be living since 6,000 years around Himalayas, roaming around the Himalayas in subtle form. And sometimes he takes a human form also. He also says, 1 minute's compassionate behavior is greater than 100 years of intense sadhana. So all these great people or great men, they have emphasized on goodness. That is the way to spirituality. Even our scriptures, Veda also says the same thing. Veda has prescribed 3 yogas: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. And there are 100,000 slokas. Out of 100,000 slokas, 80,000 is Karma Yoga, 16,000 Bhakti Yoga, and 4,000 only Jnana Yoga. In Dwapara Yoga, Lord Sri Krishna thought that people have very faint memory. They will not be able to, go through all 100,000 slokas. So he condensed Veda and Upanishads into 700 sloka Gita. Further down the line, Bhagawan Baba condensed even Gita also into 4 words: love all, serve all. If we practice love all, serve all, the whole essence of his spirituality will be practiced. That is there. That is why Swami says, without understanding service and first becoming a servant, one cannot become a leader. So to be a leader inside organization, very first thing that is required is of service. This one is disturbing. Yeah. Now, taking this Swami's injunction, we give a lot of priority to seva in Nepal, service in Nepal. Fortunately, well, in worldly sense, unfortunately, but in spiritual sense, fortunately, there's no dearth of seva opportunities in Nepal. You look left, you will see seva opportunities. You see seva opportunity waiting, and then you look behind, you see seva opportunities missed. And we have divided the whole seva into two parts. We call software seva and hardware seva. I'll talk hardware seva a little later. So let me just concentrate a few minutes for software seva. In software seva, what we mean is we look for opportunities for seva. For that matter, we scan newspapers, both hard copy as well as now digital portals also, and look for some seva opportunities. As I said, there is no dearth of seva opportunities. We find some, one or other, almost every now and then. Now this photo is of an Aborigines tribal man living in a forest, 91 years old. The reason I'm talking about this is how Swami plans everything. It is not we who did or we do, but it is Swami who does everything. There was a news a few years back that this man, 91 years old, had not had a single grain of food for the last 17 days, and he was compelled to live on wild tubers. And that was also not easily available because of the drought prevailing that time in that area. So he was at the verge of dying. When we came to know about it, we just jumped. We said, okay, we will do something for this man. But then reaching out to his place was a big challenge, because that place is deep inside forest. There's no road, nothing. One had to pass through ravines and jungle trails. Somehow after 6 hours walking through such a terrifying terrain, our people, food stuffs, everything on their back. Gave him food, trays, everything, and one photo of Swami also. When he saw Swami's photo, he started crying bitterly. Our people thought first, well, maybe he got emotional. Later on, he started murmuring. He said, this man must be God. This man must be God. This man must be God. Then our people asked him why he is saying so. The narrative he gave still, creates goosebumps. In fact, every time I narrate this story, I get emotional. I don't know today whether I'll get or not. But anyway, what happened last night? While he was trying to catch sleep, he was thinking, I'm already 91 years old, no food, hungry. Keith and Kim all have deserted him. So instead of dying so miserably, I'll kill myself tomorrow. It's much better I do suicide. In the night, Swami came in his dream and told him not to do that. Don't do this foolish work. My people will come tomorrow and take care of you. Next morning, he just brushed off this dream as another silly dream, usual dream. Then he says, I didn't believe in that dream. Now you have come. So this man must be God. Otherwise, how could he come in my dream? Tell me. Otherwise, I would have killed myself by now. And we took care of this man until he lived for another, I think, 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Very recently, he died at the age of 96. Aborigines. I'll cite example. In Nepal, in villages, when people are referred for advanced treatment in cities, more than often they cannot afford because the living expense would be quite high in towns. Food and shelter, lodges, and all that. These are the deterrents. So what we have done is at 4 places, 4 different cities or strategic cities, we have constructed patients' guest house. There people come and stay. Food is free. We provide ration. There is a kitchenette. They cook themselves and they stay there as long as the need is. And even medication also is free, taken care by us, by our volunteers, by our organization. This is what is going on. Now, this boy, who you are saying, he is 10 years old. He doesn't have his right leg, and even his right hand is twisted. In fact, both these organs were burnt when he was 1 month old. He comes from, and he was spotted by one newspaper news reporter going to school hopping. And the story is something like this. He comes from a very, very remote hilly area. And when he was just about a month old, poor family, she thought he would not move. So she left him just beside open firewood oven. They still use open firewood oven in that area because that is the interior part. And gas stove is very expensive for them. And then she went out for household jobs. After some time, when she came inside, she found the baby totally unconscious. His hand is totally burnt, and you can see that the leg is also burnt, and then got stuck with his thigh. One can imagine how pain that baby must have endured. When we came to know about this, we sent our people to fetch him, to bring him to Kathmandu for treatment. But then another big challenge was there. First, reaching out to them was a big challenge. Again, 5 hours walking by our Sevadar. And when they reached there, bigger challenge was his father refused totally to come. He said, I have my parents who will look after them. I am the only bread earner. I can't just leave them in lurch and take my son for treatment. Let him bear his fate. Then we said, okay, don't worry. We'll provide your parents all the food grains, everything, all ration until you return back. Then after that agreement, we came back here. This was in January, last January. After 8 months of series of operations, now he is. Now he's gone back home, and he's gone back home after his leg treatment, and we'll come back in January again for hand treatment. Now there's numerous cases like this, numerous. Every now and then people contact us for help or cooperation or financial support for this type of thing. Now, talking of hardware seva, we have old age home, we have orphanage for the girls, orphanage for the boys. The boys orphanage we could not develop mainly because of space constraint. Now we are, after this project, Ishwarama project, we are going to take up that one, building construction for the boys orphanage also. Now this Ishwarama Asre, there are 11 girls in Ishwarama Asre. Excuse me. In fact, Dr. Akshay, if you are still joining, I know you are driving. In fact, I'm not feeling too well. After I came back from Prashanti, I'm still suffering from cold and cough. Fortunately, cough moment, but sore is my voice is a bit sore. Anyway, 11 girls are there. One might wonder, what is this Iswaram Asre? As per the law of the land, we can keep girls above 18 in our orphanage. Either they have to be rehabilitated or sent back home. We cannot send back home because some of them are from domestic violence background, and some of them are doing excellently well in studies. 2 are in medical diploma courses, and couple in IT and others. So we started this Iswaram Asre. This is a private house at the moment, some fund to construct the building. We have 3 health centers, one in Kathmandu, one in Pokhara, another is in Narendra, 4 what we call guest houses. Science schools, one in Kathmandu, another in Pokhara. And this is the photo of Institute of SSSGC Education. It has 4 floors. The ground floor has reception and bhajan hall. The first floor, training hall, and another 2 floors, one for male dormitory, another for female dormitory, and top that terrace we have kitchen and dining. 5 flagship programs are there. First is 7 days residential Y8 leadership development program, and second is 7 days residential, again residential YA integrated personality development program. You see, we give a lot of emphasis to leadership development program to the youth. And then 7 days SSC teachers training. Again, this is also residential. And we train teachers in human values. And so far we have trained 19,000 teachers in the country. And parenting program also 10,000, over 10,000, and talks. So far we have done 8 water projects, out of which involves 100-kilometer pipelines, serving 2,000 families and 4,000 students of 12 schools. And 3 are in the pipeline. Out of 1, again, this is a satellite photo of one of the biggest. I mean, in fact, 2 are very big ones, and one of them is this. The water was sourced from 9 kilometers away, Natural Spring, brought to a reservoir, and from there distributed through a crisscross pipelines of 24 kilometers. We encourage our people, both male and female and youth, to do Seva camping at such places. Of course, it is financially not lucrative, or not. It's not beneficial. But then other benefits, spiritual or Seva motive benefits, we have 228 centers, science centers in the country. Out of 228 centers, 135 have our own sadhana bhavan. We call sadhana bhavan. Unlike in India they call temple, Sai temple. We call sadhana bhavan, mainly for the comfort of other religious people of other religions. These are some of the big ones, and some of them are as big as to be able to accommodate over 1,000 devotees. This is the Pokhara school, recently constructed at a cost of $1 million US. This school was there in a rental premises for the last 20 years, and it took us about 4 years to complete. Oh, there's no music sound. The sound was there. I forgot to connect it. Anyway, you can see this. Let me fast forward. Two hostels, one for the girls, one for the boys, and this one is a guest house. This is just at the entrance lobby, library. The shelves are still empty. Gradually, we are filling up with the books. Computer lab and old section of computer lab. Can you hear me? Are you hearing me? Or it
Yes,
is
sir.
just
Yes, sir.
We
Yeah.
can hear you.
This is Bhajan Hall. It can accommodate about 1,000 people. Sri K. Chakravarti was there in October, and he inaugurated this Bhajan Hall. Sri Satya Sai Vidyashram Pokhara. Incidentally, we use Devanagari alphabets, Sanskrit, totally best. And, seeing all these structures as to how is it possible to do or to construct so many buildings for so many projects, water projects, in a country like Nepal? Well, our answer is very simple. Whenever we start a project in Nepal, we never start with a lot of bank balance. In fact, being, the economy of the country, so our trust doesn't have money, bank balance. The only bank balance we have is a tremendous faith. Tremendous faith on Swami that he will provide us the required fund. Because we strongly believe that it is he who is the owner of the project. Because every project name is Sri Satya Sai School, Sri Satya Sai Water Project, Sri Satya Sai Orphanage, Sri Satya Sai Old Age Home. It is not Amar Karki project or this man's project, something like that. So in a way, he is owner of the project. So as a dutiful owner, it becomes his bounden duty to provide required fund, which he has been doing for the last couple of decades. So fund, somehow we get it. That is at a higher level, divine level, I would say. But at human level, what we do is we encourage, whenever we start a project, we encourage our devotees to practice sealing on desire program. Because public solicitation we cannot do. So we encourage our people to go for sealing on desires. Being a Hindu country, We have Laris, Dasara, Diwali festivals, and we encourage our devotees to cut down expenses on those festivals, and then whatever saving is, donate for seva activities. Not only adults, we even encourage youth and Bal Vikas students. In this particular case, school case, we told our Bal Vikas students and youth each to donate one cement block by way of selling on desire. That cement block instead of brick, a cement block. And that costs about 50 rupees, Nepali rupees, hardly about 32 rupees Indian currency, or 40 cents US. But then the condition is they cannot ask money from their parents. They have to cut down their pocket money, or they have to bear from their own monthly expenses. At the end of the program, they generated so much of fund that was just sufficient to finance or purchase the required entire requirement of the blocks, 20,000 blocks. Entire 20,000 blocks were funded by the Bal Vikas students and the youth. Another incident I'll cite, and then I think this will be my end of my presentation. This is a classic case, another classic case. One fine morning, we received a call from a lady. She introduced herself as a worker, employee in a small company, drawing Nepali 14,000 rupees, which is equivalent to 105 US dollars. And she said, so she must be a very lower class. And she said, with the help of similar income of her husband, they were barely able to manage their monthly household expenses. And she said, I like your COD program very much, and I want to take part in this program. I can't afford from my regular income to cut down or to save any money. So I have talked with my employer for 1 hour overtime every day. That way I'll earn 2,700, which is equivalent to $22 every month by way of overtime allowance. That I'll keep on giving, donating until the school is complete. And she did that. What we believe is $22 or $20, people like she gives to us, donates. Swami is compelled to donate or send donation or send money, remaining $80. This is how the projects in Nepal are being done. Before I end my presentation, I'll just cite this quotation of Swami. You may be doing good things. Everybody does good things. Even a wicked person also does good things. But then that doesn't mean that he's a good man. Swami says, but if you are a good man, you'll do good things only. Hence be good. I don't know why this is anybody's guess. But I would ask you also to guess. But Swami has given Nepal the largest number of Sai ropes. Outside Prashanti Nilayam, I would say. Outside Prashanti Nilayam, perhaps Nepal has got the largest number of Sai ropes, 800 plus ropes. Swami's rope. Jai Sai Ram.